still just as creepy as I remember.
King to queen one. I'm going to win this time, Winston.
Clever girl. But you should know by now, winning isn't everything. Queen to king's bishop 6. Check.
Easy for you to say. You always win. Knight takes queen.
What I mean to say is try to enjoy the journey, Lara. Don't rush to victory. Bishop to king 7.
I know, Winston. I just want... Oh no! I didn't even see that.
You should also know by now, I'm not to be trifled with on this board, young lady. Mate.
Oh, I am going to win. Someday.
I would play chess with our old butler Winston on this board. Never could beat him. I always chose white. Maybe if I let him go first once in a while, I might have won.
I'm at a crossroads now. Good Lord, that's such a cliche. But there's truth in it. 2 roads before me. Both present joy and compromise. A life with Richard, adventure, intellectual pursuit, perhaps a new family. But also a man obsessed with something I cannot understand. Or a life of obligation, upholding the de Mornay name, embracing our traditions, not losing the family that raised me. Oh, this really is a rubbish choice.
Everything is almost ready for Mistress Lara's birthday expedition surprise. It's been a bit of an all-hands-on-deck effort organizing the affair and keeping it secret. She's obsessed with Egypt, memorizing hieroglyphs and ancient Egyptian districts, so she'll be delighted with what Lord Croft has come up with.
Dad loved a good bottle of wine. I can still smell his favorite Bordeaux.
Dad, this is it! The basement of despair.
Indeed, Lara. Muster your courage, for this is the only path to the Library of Infinite Knowledge.
Look there, see the string?
An ancient Egyptian tripwire. The keepers of knowledge want none to disturb their treasures. We must tread carefully.
Let me lead. I know how to spot all the traps.
I'm sure you do, my darling. Lead on.
One of the wire traps Winston made for my birthday expedition. Winston used my hair ribbons to make this. He and Dad put a lot of work into this birthday surprise. Water damage from the main hall above. My stuffed bear. I couldn't have a tomb without a mummy. Plans for adding electricity to the manor. Dad used to say his granny hated all the bright lights. There's a missing page.
Amelia left tonight. She packed her suitcase and walked right out of here, and I didn't even notice. Like those days in the Oxford Library before we even met. I just had my nose in a book, lost in my own world. I am such a fool. I have let my obsession with this damned ritual of long life rule my better judgment for far too long, and it may already be...
Okay, Dad's ledger has to be in here somewhere. Hopefully it has the combination to the safe.
I've created a clever little map for Lara's birthday expedition. I used the invisible ink Amelia picked up for me in Morocco so many years ago. At the time, I remember being so annoyed by that rather aggressive street vendor, but she just smiled in her sunny way and paid him without a second thought. I assumed it was just a tourist scam, but it actually works. Turns out it requires...
I always accepted that Richard's rather unorthodox research was just something I had to live with. But this time, the thrill of discovery has taken hold of me. I never imagined I could be drawn in this way. Richard cabled to tell me he's found the monastery. The symbol we deciphered in the scroll was the key to its location. I don't know if I honestly believe that this will lead to the fabled elixir of life, but I can't help but feel that a great secret awaits us there. My brother was threatening to shut down the expedition, but I managed to talk him down for the time being. Now...
I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual number hieroglyphs.
Now, let me see. These two myths are referencing the same source material. But where did I see this image?
Dad, I think it's this one, in the chapter on Egyptian districts.
Why, yes, I think you're right, Lara.
I remember the page with the illustration of Ra.
My goodness, you've been paying attention, haven't you? This could be an important breakthrough.
Does this mean I'm your research assistant?
That and more, my darling girl.
takes me back. Those were good times, the best times. This was always one of my favorite books in this library. I used to trace hieroglyphs.
I've reached the monastery. As Roth predicted, it was hidden deep in the Himalayas. And now that I'm standing on these high stone walls, I am overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of the mountains that surround me. It is simply breathtaking. But what adds to their spiritual majesty is the truth of this place. The monks welcomed me, as is their way, but they seemed to expect me.
Dad was looking for an elixir. Was it the elixir of life?
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure, my favorite painting by Amelia, the day of our wedding anniversary.
Okay, got to find those objects to figure out the combination to the safe. There's something else here. Dad's lighter. I don't remember him ever using it though. The Croft family crest and initials PC. I wonder if this belonged to my grandfather. Okay, should be able to light the fireplace now. Took quite a tumble off of this old thing when I was a girl. Still feel it in the shoulder from time to time. This music is familiar. It's beautiful. It appears Sir Reginald's helmet fell off. Or didn't I put it back properly? Blank, except for the image of a key. I remember this map now. It leads to the master key, but we made it with a special kind of invisible ink. It could only be seen with the heat of a fire. I think I stashed one of Winston's master keys in here when I was a kid. I can see the map. Looks like the key is hidden under a trunk near the bookcase. X marks the spot, as they say. The master key. This should get me into the West Wing. All right. This should open most rooms in the manor, including the forbidden West Wing. I think there might be more clues to find in the library. I think there might be more clues to find in the library.
Mistress Lara, I took the liberty of preparing a tray, as dinner did not go according to plans. I've included, in addition to your meal, a few treats. I would appreciate it if you kept this between us, but I felt tonight called for something special. If you will forgive me the indulgence, your rapid exit from the dinner table had me concerned, and I wanted to impart... What are you doing sitting there on the floor, Mistress Lara?
Looking at the compass, thinking.
What about, if I may inquire?
Just thinking about discovering faraway places, about finding adventure.
I'm sure you will, my lady. You've the soul of an explorer. But don't grow up too fast.
The offer came in the post last week, and I still haven't told Richard. He flew ahead to Tibet, where I will meet him shortly. I never told him I was submitting my work. Never thought there was a chance of being accepted. But a gallery tour is not something I can pass up. The show will take me away from England for over a year. I'll begin in New York and travel across the United States and... Oh, God! I'm giddy even writing these words. When Richard and I were married, I was prepared to relegate my painting to a hobby, but it was Richard who objected, who gave me my atelier and studio. Without that support, I might still be painting boring landscapes. Now I can't shake the foolish sensation that leaving would be a betrayal. He will laugh at that and insist I accept, even though I know it will break his heart to be apart.
Mum's atelier. Dad sealed it soon after she died. He probably couldn't bear the idea of removing any of her belongings. Untouched for years, exactly as she left it.
I stood up to my family's criticism, stood in defense of Richard and our love. But as my new life began in Croft Manor, doubt set in. How could love flourish in these cavernous halls and endless passageways? Had I made a terrible mistake? I have never been more delighted to be wrong. Richard welcomed me to the manor, my new home, with a game. It was a clue, written in jumbled words from 5 different languages, but it pointed the way forward. The next clue was a seemingly blank piece of parchment in the kitchen, with
Mum's paintings. Which one was Dad's favorite?
I returned home this afternoon to collect the last of my paintings. I suppose I should say I returned to my family's home. Atlas was there, in one of his foul moods, and even as he dripped venom for Richard with his cruel barbs, I could only laugh. To think that I once listened to my bitter brother in matters of my own happiness. My dismissal only served to infuriate him more. I left him there in Father's study, muttering to himself. On the drive back,
Blocks of red. Dad's favorite painting. Maybe something about that painting will help me figure out the combination.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's...
Mum with me as a baby. I've never seen this. Hard to believe I was ever that small. I don't have any memory of this. I wish I could remember doing this. Mum died too young.
I finally introduced Richard to the family. It went precisely how I imagined. Icy but polite I always accepted. I'm at a crossroads. I stood up to my family. The offer came in the post last week, and I finally introduced Richard to the family.
Hi, Dad. I've been thinking.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool.
You've almost got it, darling. Here, let me show you. Like this, see? Well done, Lara. Well done.
I wonder how my life would have been different had she lived. I'm glad I still have so much of Mum's work.
My lord, we all hope your work was well received at the conference and look forward to your return. As is so often the case with these missives, I wanted to call your attention to an incident involving our little angel. It seems that Lara has been the subject of some ridicule amongst the other girls at school. From what I can gather, some of the other young ladies were teasing her for being too much of a tomboy. You know how Lara can get when pushed into a corner. Let's just say they won't be bothering her again. But I do think their words have had an effect. I believe Lara has been missing her mother.
believe it took this trip. Push me over the edge. I've been able to see Richard in his element, seeing him at his best and his worst. I've experienced the purity and chaos of his passion, and I came to realize I want his passion in my life every day. So it's done. Richard wanted to wait another 4 days until my birthday, but I would.
Amelia would not have approved. That alone should have been the end of it. But I am, as God made me, a stubborn fool. I locked all the West Wing's doors, and I shall not open them again until either my life or my obstinacy comes to an end. The night before, Roth told me I would someday change my mind. Like a broken arm cast in plaster, he said. The wound would heal, and we would someday shed the bandages to be whole again. The metaphor made me furious. The club...
At least that old thing still works. Mum's wedding ring. I always wondered what happened to it. The inscription is faded.
I am bursting with pride. Amelia is with child. It is amazing how everything in life can change with such a simple event. Obviously, we don't know the gender, but already we've discussed possible names. Perhaps Benjamin, after my grandfather? Or maybe Griffin. He was more infamous at Croft than even me. No, Amelia wouldn't have it. Besides, she's certain it's a girl. She favors a classic such as Scarlet or Kate, though I've made some headway with Lara. A subtle nod to the sun god Ra, and our days in Egypt where certainly this child was conceived. I find myself thinking about this new life we've created, of how much she might be like us. For all...
Dad may have discovered the secret to immortality without even knowing it. My mother's perfume. The smell. So familiar. I can almost... Mum, on her wedding day, she looks so beautiful. There's a date, October something. Damn, the number is faded. The anniversary was in October. Which day? I can't believe I don't know this. There's got to be another clue somewhere. I remember this. Dad gave it to Mum on her birthday. October 13th. Pretty sure my parents were married in October. I think it was close to her birthday. This is Dad. I suppose it's a family tradition, but I can't imagine having one of these made of me.
After everything
I think this was Dad's pocket watch. Looks like it stopped precisely at midnight.
done, how could you tell him about the expedition?
It's just all been too much. I needed to talk to someone. He's still my brother.
I don't trust him.
You don't have to, Richard, but please, trust me.
I'm sorry, my dear, but I know him. He'll take it to the papers. The investors will pull out.
Then go. Without me. Tonight. I will take care of Atlas. And then meet you in Tibet next week.
I was so young, but I still remember that terrible argument. It wasn't always an easy road for my parents.
I believe it.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure. With Amelia gone, the manor is a different place. A dimness pervades, a quiet I can't stand. Even though Lara is too young to understand what has happened, she also senses the change. She's asked after her mother only once, and I'm afraid my reaction must have terrified her. I will need Winston more than ever these next few months to help look after her. I never quite realized how much...
The Croft family crest. Need to search the rest of the manor for the clues to the combination. The Pharaoh's crown from my birthday treasure hunt. How old was I again? 6, 8? I think this hieroglyph corresponds to a number. Oh, okay, back to the study to open that safe.
Dad, what do you keep in there?
Nothing too important, Lara. Estate business and such.
If it's not important, then why bother putting it in a safe?
I should know better than to try and pull one over on you. There is something important in here. And it's for you, should you need it someday.
Well, let's hope you came through for me, Dad. Okay, found all the clues. Let's see if I can figure this out. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. I remember this. Dad gave it to Mum on her birthday. I remember this now. Each the Pharaoh's crown from my birthday treasure hunt. How old was I again? 6, 8? I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual...
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure. My favorite painting by Amelia. The day of our wedding anniversary.
No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. No, that's not it. No, that didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues.
For God's sake, memorize the combination.
No, that's not it. No.
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expedition treasure. My favorite painting by... They say a good test of a relationship... Well, this is a hell of a...
I always accepted that Richard's rather unorthodox... I'm at a crossroads now. Good lord. I stood up to my family's criticism, stood in defense of Richard and our love. But as my new life began in Croft Manor, the offer came in the post last week, and I still haven't told Richard. He flew ahead to Tibet. I finally introduced Richard to the family. It went precisely how I imagined. I see but polite grace from mother, indifference and disinterest from father.
Hi, Dad.
A picture with Dad and Anna. My birthday crown. My birthday crown. I was so proud of that thing. That's my handwriting. My penmanship was pretty good. Mum, on her wedding day, she looks so beautiful.
I believe it took this trip to push me over the edge. I've been able to...
For God's sake, memorize the combination, you fool. Lara's expert...
That didn't work. The answer has to be in the clues. That worked. It makes me happy to know that Dad kept it safe. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
I am numb. It is taking all my willpower to hold back the overwhelming grief. Amelia's plane crashed in the mountains. She died alone in the snow, waiting for me to find her. Oh God, not her, not now. I cannot accept it. Life without her is too painful to imagine. I know what must be done, and I am resolved. I'm going to bring her back. Perhaps this is why I am here. Perhaps this is fate, a test of my faith in the truth I've sought for so long. Roth will fight me on this, but I can't...
Dad, what did you do? Dad's sequel to his first book on immortality. He never got a chance to publish it. Handwritten. This is the only copy. Damn, this isn't it either. I was certain there had to be a will in here. Wait, what's that? A blank page. Dad must have left this for me. It has to be important. A blank page. One of Winston's notes. He always hid sweets.
I've created a clever little map for Lara's birthday expedition. I used the invisible ink...
A hidden message. What are these strange marks? They have to be some kind of clue. A hidden message. hidden message? This was for a show in London of Mum's work. What I wouldn't give to see this today. It says here, Amelia Croft plans to show her work in New York. I wonder...
Lara arrived tonight, though not without a bit of drama, but all is well. She's a healthy, beautiful baby. I've never seen Richard so happy. I'm sure he'll be celebrating with his favorite whiskey tonight.
hidden message.
场民众惊声尖叫，紧接着传出连续枪响，川普支持者在慌乱中逃窜。
I'm at the Trump rally and somebody just started shooting. What just happened?
枪手大拉拉在屋顶上架枪，瞄准方向就是美国前总统川普。时间回到开枪前几分钟。当时川普还在造势台上慷慨激昂演说，不过周围群众早发现不对劲。当地晚间6点04分，川普站上讲台7分钟后，有人朝看台开枪，3秒后狙击手立刻击毙嫌犯。命在旦夕，川普不忘喊着让我先穿鞋。这起枪击案后，挺川普和挺拜登两边都出现阴谋论，拜登支持者质疑川普自导自演。
Somehow orchestrated this event as a way to garner sympathy and support from Americans.
川粉则认为特勤人员有问题。
That the Secret Service was slow to protect the former president, perhaps on the orders of the White House.
因为枪手所在位置正好是舞台的制高点，特勤队居然没有事先进空，还让嫌犯拿长枪埋伏。
Where you're walking around and you have that earpiece in and you hear somebody has been cited, some suspicious activity. We don't know what was coming through this earpiece.
目前 FBI 初步认定嫌犯是孤狼犯案，属于潜在国内恐怖行动，定调为暗杀未遂。不过嫌犯目前没有策划其他攻击，这次暗杀动机正在深入调查。TVBS 新闻报道。川普
于此当下高举右手握拳，嘴里喊着战斗。这张照片成为历史画面，隔天立刻登上《时代》杂志封面。拍下这张照片的美联社资深摄影师接受 CNN 访问，说他能够捕捉到这个重大时刻，全靠